Almost home, miss." The first officer peeked his head through the open doorway of the small office off the largest bedroom in the back of the plane. "I'll need you up front and belted in for landing." "Thank you." I shut down the computer and my efforts to try to catch up on what had been going on in Vegas while I'd been gone. My name is Lucky OToole, and for the last 2 weeks, or more, I'd been ignoring my responsibilities as the Vice President of Customer Relations for the Babylon Group, the owner of multiple properties in Vegas and one of the primo strip properties. Not that a couple of hours over the Pacific would get me up to speed, but it might help me hit the ground running. I reached to flip off the satellite television, showing a live feed of the local news. The face on the screen stopped me. My best friend, Flash Gordon, newshound extraordinaire, reporting from a local party. Not her usual beat. As the sun was out, it looked like the party was earlier this afternoon. I glanced at my watch. Just after midnight. In the feed, Flash interviewed another buddy of mine, Jordan Marsh, Hollywood heartthrob. They were promoting the Concours d'Elegance, a fancy car party starting soon, so I didn't bother with the sound. Next to Jordan, attempting to squeeze into a sliver of importance, bobbed a man I didn't know. Tall, thin, graying temples, and a smile that would have most smart men grabbing their wives and daughters. There was one in every crowd. I shook my head and snapped off the TV. That was Vegas right there. Fancy cars, celebrity cachet, and a regular Joe soaking it up for the weekend, perhaps pretending an importance he didn't have. The pilots pulled back power and started our descent as I buckled in. The lights of Las Vegas spread across the valley below, thousands of pinpoints in the desert darkness. At 10,000 feet, the plane skimmed over the Sunrise Mountains, then started the drop to final approach, the end of a very long trip. Along the way, I'd left broken hearts, numerous bodies, and perhaps some sanity in my wake. It struck me that a few short weeks ago, I'd started out heading west, and had kept going until I'd come full circle. Home again. Odd when the beginning can be the end. Sort of like that old joke, when do you leave home to get home? Guess my life resembled a game of baseball. Hadn't struck out yet, but I couldn't shake the feeling that the damage I'd left behind wasn't going to stay in my rear view. The plane that now carried me home, one of the Babylon's G650s, certainly had made a clean getaway all the easier. I thought I'd left each country with the approval and most likely the enthusiasm of the local constabularies, but I wasn't entirely sure. At some point, it would be my luck to land on the wrong side of a modern-day avert. Despite the body count, there'd be only one near fatality on the side of truth, justice, and all of that. One of the fractured hearts was mine. Thankfully, my body had survived. Most of the time, I was grateful for that. I pressed my nose to the window as the pilot banked the plane lining up on final approach. Landing to the north put the strip on the left side of the plane. The lights beckoned with a false promise of fun. Oh, don't get me wrong. For most who came here, the city delivered. But not for me. As the chief problem solver of the Babylon Group, my business card reads Vice President of Customer Relations, but let's be real. It was my job to keep the Vegas magic burning bright for all who stepped across the threshold of one of our properties. Consequently, I'd seen behind the curtain. And once you see the levers and gears, the magic isn't quite as magical. For me, Vegas was not a holiday, not one last toot with my BFFs before the impending stranglehold of marriage, nor did it provide even a simple weekend fantasy to offset the drag of real life. No, Vegas was my real life, my home, and it was no fantasy. Like everybody else, I lived with my problems lurking with the dust bunnies under the pieces of large furniture and whispering from the shadows. But unlike everyone else, I didn't have Vegas in which to offload them, not even for the weekend. I leaned back in my seat and closed my eyes, contemplating exactly where to begin my